Are you tired of trying out the same thing over and over again, yet it doesn't work? Or perhaps you struggle with discipline or motivation. Well, if you stick with me today, I am going to tell you 5 life-transforming biblical truths that if you can apply to your life today, you will see exponential results. If you are new here, my name is Solomon, also known as the Bodybuilding Banker. I am an investment banker by profession and a high performance coach whose mission is to help you unleash your inner champion. The problem is so many people are concerned with trying to be right about the Bible, but we should be concerned about allowing the Bible to rightly impact us. We should see the Bible as orders from divine headquarters. Before we get into the biblical truths, I want you to have the mindset that you should go to the Bible looking for the wisdom of God, and that success is a byproduct of obedience to the law of the Lord. So I love Joshua 8:18, which is a testament to his obedience to God. The Lord commands Joshua to stretch out the spear that is in his hand, that he will give the city of Ai into Joshua. And Joshua obeys immediately. As a result, they're able to defeat the opposing army. Chapter 8 verses 26 tells us that Joshua did not draw back the hand in which he held the spear until all the opposing army in Ai had been defeated. That is the mindset I want you to apply, and that is the foundation of achieving God's will for your life. My mom used to say this song, which rings in my head: trust and obey, for there is no other way to be happy in Jesus unless you trust and obey. The first biblical truth is to make sure you have clarity. Clarity is the foundation for any high performer, and it's important to use clarity when looking to achieve your goal. I love Proverbs 21 verses 5. It says, "The plans of the diligent surely lead to profit, but those of the hasty only lead to poverty." Most people, when they're reading that verse, they focus on the words such as plans, diligent, profit, poverty. But the two words that come to mind are surely and only. Now let's think of the meaning. Surely means with certainty or without doubt, and only means one outcome. So if we take that and we replace it inside the verse, it says the plans of the diligent without doubt or with certainty lead to profit, and profit could be success, achievement, abundance, and those of the hasty only have one outcome, which is poverty, which can mean misery and failure. Tip number 2, learn to embrace failure. In fact, failure is feedback. I often struggled with this because in school, we were taught that there was usually one right answer. Especially because I took a lot of mathematical subjects, it was instilled in me to follow one process. And this made it quite challenging when I started my entrepreneurial journey, because I would often procrastinate because I thought I had to get it perfect. I had to get it right. Now, James 1 verses 2 tells us to count it all joy when we go through trials, knowing that the testing of our faith will produce patience. Let patience have its perfect work, so you are complete and lacking nothing. That verse has transformed my life. But let's break it down. The first thing it tells us is to count it all joy, or consider it pure joy when we go through trials. That sounds like a conflicting statement. Instead of viewing trials as a negative experience, we should trust in God, because this experience will allow us to be better in the future. Rather than going through trials, we must learn to grow through trials, because it is for a divine purpose. Notice it said, count it all joy when you go through trials, not if. It shows that trials are an inevitable part of your life. The key is to allow it to refine you and not define you. Next it says, the testing of your faith produces perseverance, or in some translations says patience. The word test was used when testing the authenticity of a coin. So the aim of a test is not to afflict or destroy you, but rather purge and refine you. You can come out stronger and better. Then it goes on to say, let patience have its perfect work, so you are complete and lacking nothing. The idea of a trial is to help you build resilience, to become steadfast, so that you are equipped with the skills, the knowledge, and the wisdom to overcome life's challenges. And the book says, if any of you lack wisdom, ask God who liberally gives it. So the beauty is, even when you're going through a trial, focus on Jesus and he will surely guard your paths. Philippians 4:6 commands us to do not be anxious about anything, but by everything in prayer and petition with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to God. So the peace of God, which surpasses all human understanding, will bless and abide with you. So if you make God the sole focus in your trials, he will give you peace that will allow you to overcome the trials. Listen, I'm not saying it's going to be easy. I remember difficult trials with my job, with my relationship, and with my business. But looking back, God taught me amazing things about myself and gave me skills that will allow me to overcome bigger challenges. But at that time, it was difficult when you're going through suffering. That's why you have to fix your eyes on Jesus, who is the author and finisher of our faith, and you will be able to persevere and overcome. Trials is not temptation. 1 Corinthians 10:13 commands us that there is no temptation that can overtake you that is not common to man. But with the temptation, we'll make a way of escape that you will be able to bear it. I remember going through a terrible breakup. I found that it impacted the gym, my business, my relationship with my colleagues and friends, and it was just a really challenging time. Rather than blaming it on my ex-girlfriend, I looked and I asked God to transform me, to make me a better person. And now I'm in a happy relationship with a girl I love, and that trial transformed my life, and I'll continue to use that testimony to encourage other people. Tip number 3, you don't need more resources, you just need to be more resourceful. And no verse covers this best than Matthew 25:14-30, which talks about the parable of the talents. A talent was just a unit of money. And in this parable, a master goes away and gives 3 lots of talents to his servant. To one servant, he gives 5 talents, and the servant doubles that to make 10. Another servant, he gives 2 talents. The servant doubles that to make 4. And then to one servant, he gives 1 talent, and this servant done something different. He says to his master he was fearful, and he went to bury the talent. And his master was infuriated. In fact, he took that 1 talent and gave it to another servant. The key message is that if you are faithful over few, he will make you ruler over many. One of the laws that transformed my life came from Genesis 1:28, which says, be fruitful and multiply and have dominion over the earth. So what is being fruitful? Well, a fruit is something which seed is in itself. Therefore, God has planted his seed of creativity in each and every one of us, and we must use that seed to expand his kingdom. Proverbs 18:16 says, your gift shall make room for you and will bring you amongst great men. And once you operate in your gift, once you operate in your original purpose, you will achieve what God has called you to be achieved. And that's when you're going to be happy. Matthew says, seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all things will be added to you. And just a caveat, success is by God's measures. It might not be great riches or a big house. That's what the world deems as success. And we all have different gifts. Some people's gifts are to be great orators. You think of the likes of Oprah Winfrey. Some people's gifts are technology, entrepreneurship, and innovation. You look at the likes of Mark Zuckerberg, Steve Jobs, Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos. So really our prayer should be, God, give me the wisdom. What do you want me to do on this earth? And I promise you, once you do this and you walk in that gift, you don't have to worry about everything, because you will walk in the original purpose you were designed to walk in. When it calls us to be fruitful and multiply, I love to call it the law of the garden or the law of the kingdom. When you think of a farmer, they plant their crops in faith, they yield it, they cultivate it, and it grows into fruit, vegetables, meat, drink. And so we should be like the farmer that cultivates those seeds, those gifts God has given us, and we have to grow them. We have to acquire skill. We have to seek God's wisdom. We have to seek knowledge to develop those gifts so they can be used appropriately. Because believe it or not, people do have gifts, but they may misuse it. And we know that every good and perfect gift is from above. And if we don't yield in accordance to God's will, it will only lead to destruction. I love Psalms 1, which says, "Blessed is the man who walks not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor stands in the path of sinners, nor sits in the seat of the scornful. But his delight is in the law of the Lord, and in his law he meditates day and night. He shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water, which brings forth fruit in its season, whose leaf will not wither, and whatever he does shall prosper." The earth has no choice but to yield to the will of God. And so our only assignment, our only concern, and I implore you, is to seek wisdom from God and work in accordance to his will, and the earth will reap what God has commanded it to reap. You will be successful. That is the law of the kingdom. That is the law of the garden. You see, we are human beings, we're not human doings. But most people, when they want to change their life, they try to change their behavior. But I command you, I implore you that you should focus on changing your identity. Why? Being speaks to your identity. Doing speaks to your activity. Having speaks to your property. If you want to have more, you must do more. And if you want to do more, you must become more.